facilitate the meeting until a chairperson is elected. So if we could, the announcement of the Open Public Meeting statement. Dory, can you help me out on that?
Open Public Meetings Act statement, adequate notice of this public meeting was given in accordance with the Public Open Meetings Act. Formal action may or may not be taken.
Thank you, Dory. Salute to the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get to the formal reorganization, it's appropriate to swear in the new members so they'll be able to vote on the actions. The first person to be sworn in will be the Deputy Mayor, Michael Sylvester, who is our Class 3 member. And Michael, if you kindly stand and raise your right hand. If you would swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that you will bear true witness and allegiance to the same and the government established under the United States and in this state and under the authority of the people, and that you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Sparta Planning Board according to the best of your ability.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. The next person is Christine Dunbar. Hi, Christine, how are you? Christine, you're being sworn in as a Class 4 member.
Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that the government established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, and you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Sparta Planning Board according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations. Okay, next one, Brian Zimmerman. Brian, you can affirm or swear. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the government established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, and you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Sparta Planning Board to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations. Okay, and the last one is our alternate crew member, Brigitte Bulger. Birgit Bogler. Birgit, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, and you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Sparta Planning Board according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations. Okay, gang, if we could do a roll call.
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Here.
Jeanette Burke,
Here.
Ron Day,
Here.
Christine Dunbar,
Here.
Joan Furman,
Here.
Celeste Luciano,
Here.
Ernie Reichstad,
Here.
Brian Zimmerman,
Here.
and Birgit Bogler. Here.
Okay, gang, you're going to see on the reorganization, there is A, B, C, D going through. Let's do the chairperson and the vice chair individually, and then there is a resolution that I think encompasses C through K. You could, if you choose, do C through K with one vote, or you could pull out individual ones if you'd like, but it is appropriate that we do individually, the election of the chairperson and B, election of the vice chair. So if going to the election of the chairperson, is there someone who would nominate a chairperson for 2026?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Celeste Luciano.
Under the nomination, only one nomination is required, no second is required. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Jeanette Burke,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
Abstain.
Celeste Luciano,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes,
Brian Zimmerman,
Yes.
and Birgit Bogler.
Yes.
Okay, we have our new chairperson. Congratulations, and you can handle, Celeste, now the election of the vice chair.
Before we do that, can I just say, Celeste, even though I abstained, it does not mean I'm not supporting you. I think, you are the chair, and I want to put the past behind us, move forward in a good light, and So yeah, I'm backing you.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, Joan. And I think we had a really great conversation yesterday, and I think that kind of opened up a really good door. And I'm looking forward to doing good work, not just at the dais, but on the master plan as well.
Okay. And then, following that, I'd like to nominate Ernie, if he's willing to be vice chair.
No,
No?
I would turn it down. I I would like to nominate Jeanette Burke. Thank you, John.
I hear no other nominations. Roll call?
Yes, please, roll call.
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Jeanette Burke,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
No?
Les Luciano,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes,
Brian Zimmerman,
Yes.
Birgit Bogler.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to the other portion of reorganization. Before we get there, I just kind of want to say a few words. I would like to express a heartfelt thank you for, the continued confidence of the members of the board. And as mentioned, the aspiration that those who did not vote for me, that we're going to move forward in collaboration. I look forward to that. I'm very excited about our goal of completing the master plan this year. And I'm very looking forward to having a productive year. And also, since we have other items that we need to deal with, but I'd also like to address, before we continue, to, seeing as though this is our first meeting of the year, to congratulate Dean Blumetti on his appointment as mayor and Michael Sylvester on his appointment as deputy mayor. Thank you, gentlemen, for all you do and are about to do for our town. And I'd also like to thank everyone on and affiliated with this board. We've done good work in the past. I believe we'll do good work in the future. That includes members, professionals, administrative staff. I appreciate everything that's been done, and I look forward to this year. So that said, we will move forward with the resolution.
Yes, Les, as I had said, there was a proposed resolution with regard to the positions, and it recites on the written resolution for the board engineer, David Simmons of Harold Pello's office, Lindsay Knight of Naglia's office for the planner, and David for the board engineer, Brian Intandola for the planning board traffic engineer, Richard Oler as our planning board conflict attorney. Richard Oler also is currently handling the pending litigation in the federal lawsuit, Diamond Chip. If you recall, I'm handling the state of New Jersey appellate matter, and also in this resolution, it would be Kenneth Poirot Brock Eichler as the appointed planning board attorney. If the board wanted to, you could move all those names with one vote, or if there are other nominees. So whatever the board decides.
Yeah, I believe also on that resolution is Dory Fox as the planning board
I
secretary.
apologize, that is on there, Dory Fox as the,
Just so everybody understands what we're voting for, if we're voting for the resolution as a
yes, I
as a whole.
apologize.
Is there an agreement for that?
I'm sorry?
It's, that one doesn't have an agreement.
As she's an employee of the town, there is no professional services
There's nothing
agreement
separate that
required.
is being paid by the planning board?
No.
Okay.
Okay, unless someone opposes, we can vote for this resolution all in one. Since no one opposes, I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Can I
Deputy
have
Ma-
one comment, if I could? Looking at what we're approving tonight, it's a little different, I think, than what I typically have seen in the past, where when we've appointed the people, we've appointed them by names, but we didn't have the contracts to review and look at. So I just want to make sure that these contracts have been or will be looked at by someone within the township that's got purchasing experience, that knows the clauses and the reps and stuff that need to be in the contract. So I'd like to modify that we vote to appoint, subject to these contracts being reviewed by somebody in town, just to make sure they're complete in terms of making sure that all the mandatory clauses are there. One example might be a conflict of interest, that the people appointing have no conflict of interest. So I'd like to go forward with the motion to appoint, subject to final review, and if there is something that's deemed incomplete, then let the QPA and the professional, work that out. Should be minor stuff, I would think.
That's a good idea.
I'm fine with that. I think we're all in agreement. Okay, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes.
Brian Zimmerman,
Yes.
Birgit Bogler. Yes. Jeanette Burke
Yes.
and Celeste Luciano.
Yes.
All right, so Celeste, we did not go on J and K. That's the appointment of the official newspaper, which I had spoken to Dory earlier in the week and yourself. There's a lot going on with internet notice and the like, so we talked about the same notices last year, subject to any legislative changes that come up with regard to online. And it's no secret, the municipal website is becoming more and more important. And for a layperson wanting to see what's going on, that's where it's understood to go. Also, if you're in 200 feet, you get a personal notice. So there's some evolving law on it, which is all good for transparency, but we still have to vote on J and K.
Yes, so that's Resolution 2026-2. And I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to take a look at the schedule of meetings. So unless there are any questions, comments regarding these two components of this resolution. Okay, hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes.
Brian Zimmerman,
Yes.
Birgit Bogler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jeanette Burke,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Celeste Luciano.
Yes. Okay. So this concludes this portion of the meeting. We actually, at this point, can make a motion to adjourn. No, the reorganization portion.
Yes, you are correct.
So we can make a motion to adjourn the reorganization portion of the meeting so that we can convene into our regular meeting. May I have a motion and a
I'll
second?
make
to
that
adjourn?
motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning the reorganization portion of our meeting?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that brings us moving into the portion of our regular meeting.
Yes, this is an interesting issue that is more common than you would think. This actually predates myself and some other board members, I'm sure. It was a prior resolution on the property that there was a subdivision. And with any subdivision, you have to get meets and bounds. There may be other issues related to the resolution approval in order to memorialize it. And then there's a deed that is created with the new meets and bounds that is filed with the county that has its own requirements. It was reviewed by our office, by the board engineer's office. But the long and the short is that you have to, by the New Jersey statute, review these within 190 days. And unfortunately, and again, this is common, the applicant exceeded the 190 days. So this resolution is merely memorializing that this subdivision did take place. And you'll see in the agenda, it says extension of time. And in the deed that was proposed, it reflects today's date that you approved and reaffirmed the subdivision. I have no objection to it, and the documents are all in line, and this is standard and customary.
Okay, so for those who are either watching online or in the audience who don't have an agenda in front of you, this is PB number 2393, Larry and Tina Allen, 483 Glen Road, Block 29001, lots 102 and 104, R1 minor subdivision. This is relative to an extension of time letter as described by Mr. Porro.
It does require a vote.
Yes, any discussion or thoughts or commentary regarding the extension of time letter? Okay, hearing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes, do we need to motion, or was it a motion to approve, or?
Is that required?
It'd probably be cleaner,
Okay,
probably cleaner.
so
A
motion and
to
second.
approve?
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, may we now have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Jeanette Burke,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Celeste Luciano.
Yes.
All right, good, thank you.
Okay, moving on to updates, we will start with the town council.
Before we do that, I think, it's the beginning of the year now, and I think we need to go back to things that were discussed last year and kind of resolve them and set the course for this coming year. And I want to get straight, and I'd like the board to engage in this discussion of the voting of alternate members when there is no Class 2 member. Last year, the town council did not appoint anybody to Class 2 for the entire year, so de facto, an alternate voted the entire year, which is really not in the interest and the intent of the statute. The statute for a Class 2 member is an employee of the township. It is a vacancy. I think that the statute is very clear. I've brought it up before, that an alternate member, and I'm reading from the statute right now, 40:55D-23.1, alternate members. No alternate member shall be permitted to act on any wrong part, I'm sorry. Alternate members may participate in all matters, but may not vote except in the absence or disqualification of a regular member of any class. So if there's a regular member in that seat and they're voting for that person, that's, to me, perfectly fine. When there's a vacancy, and I brought up the Hamilton case, we did have discussion on it. I believe that the mandate really came down from the town council attorney, but I do disagree with it. And what I don't want to see us get in a position this year of voting and ending up where we're in a lawsuit because it's a 5-4 decision and it's being challenged, as was the case in Hamilton Township. And they had to go back, and it was determined that that alternate member could not vote for a vacancy, only in the disqualification or absence of a regular member. So a regular member has a name. So if you can tell me who the regular member is in Class 2, I can drop this, but there is nobody there. And I think the best way really is to fill that position. But until it is done, I think we have to talk about it and make sure we are proceeding down the right path. Because as Ken pointed out last time with the de facto, what is it called? The de facto officer doctrine, you have to do it beforehand. You have to do it before the vote. So that's why I want to put it on the record right now. And that is really like Christine. When Christine was in the Class 2 position, you can't go back and negate what she did because she was acting in good faith as being a member of the Class 2 position. That's different. We're not talking about Brian or Birgit being able to be seated as alternate members. They can be perfectly okay. It's the voting in the absence. Or like Mike, when, that year where they say that you didn't really qualify. You can't go back on those votes because you were acting in good faith. So you're still acting in faith, but you can't vote for a vacancy. And that's the way I read it. And I think we all need to kind of discuss it and make sure we're doing the right thing so we don't end up in a lawsuit down the road like Hamilton
Mr.
Township.
Porro, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it's a very interesting issue. If you recall, we had this discussion last time. The ordinance for Sparta has a 9-person board. In the Municipal Land Use Act makes reference to 4 classes. Class 1 is the mayor, Class 2 is the municipal representative, Class 3 is the council person, and Class 4 is the general public. So the issue becomes the 2 alternates are Class 4 members. Like right now, tonight, the mayor or the designee has not, we have a mayor, but he's not here. Is he vacant, that position, or is he absent? In my opinion, he's absent because the mayor by statute sits there. He's not here.
You can name him.
You can name him. So the Class 2 member is where we had the friction last time, because that is in essence right now, and it's good that Councilman Sylvester is here because he can bring this back to the mayor and council, that we really, in order to avoid problems, the Class 2 member should be filled. Now, this is not unique to your municipality. In order to get a municipal employee or a municipal representative who's working all day, and we have, Aisha and Dory, it's a long day. And the Class 2 member does not get paid. So it's difficult to find somebody who will fill that position. But in all candor, that is important. Sometimes people get time off or time credit. That's above my pay grade, and Jim Zepp could handle that on how that could be done. So to answer the question, interesting conversation. We should look forward to how that goes. Tonight, there were 9 members here. We all voted because, as the municipal attorney had interpreted the last time and supported by the Board of Adjustment attorney and myself, that we're doing an administrative function here on behalf of Sparta, and therefore Sparta has a 9-person board. You're 9 people here. When an application comes forward, that is the Municipal Land Use Act is more in line. And then therefore, there would, as Joan is saying, there could be an argument as to that. Last year, we also interpreted that our past practice was that the alternate did vote there, and therefore, we were comfortable that we didn't have to change any votes in the past. But again, in 2026, the issue's raised. Hopefully, the mayor and council will help us out on it. That's it. I don't think there's anything else needs to be done tonight. That's the discussion. And hopefully, Mike, you can help us out. Okay, that's it.
So what do we do next time if there is an application?
Let's take it day by day, and hopefully, we'll see what the mayor and council do. I think I don't think we have an application in February, so we should be okay to only do administrative stuff. If we have the master plan, I feel we're okay. Again, I don't believe there's any applications until March.
So there is a town council meeting on the 27th, and Mike, if you could please take that back and we can move forward.
Noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's less.
Okay. Moving forward with the agenda.
Updates.
Yep.
Council update.
Town council update, unless, of
Being-
course,
being my
before
first
we,
meeting.
before we get there, just want to double check before we move forward. Any other items from any other member regarding other board business? Okay, then we are going to move on to updates, town council.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. First off, I just want to congratulate all the appointees and looking forward to having a productive and very functioning board and a productive board this year. So glad to be back on the board, serving and working with all of you again and, righting the ship and taking care of, matters on hand and the applications and the citizens as they come forward during the course of 2026. So again, congratulations. I'll note that, Joan. I'll bring that back to council and we'll report back, but no further update from town council at this point. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. We will move on to Environmental Commission.
Yes, good evening and thank you. It's good to be voting again and that Environmental Commission has a vote, and for the future, so thank you. There's not a lot going on. We haven't met since December. Our meeting is actually tomorrow night, but I do have a few things that I can mention. One is that I believe that there is, Mr. Porro, on 29 Main, there's an application that's coming up, and we will be reviewing that tomorrow night, the Environmental Commission, so we'll get that feedback to you. And the Environmental Commission is working on some projects. We're doing the Salt Watch to protect our waters, make sure that they're not contaminated with sodium and chlorine to excessive levels. And we also have a fun project. We're working on Earth Day 26 with the Lake Mohawk Association. So that should be great. Cleanup in the morning and then a conservation fair right out here in the afternoon. And then we may be, it's on the horizon, we may be recommending an ordinance regarding data centers in the future. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Now we move on to subcommittees. I'm sure a lot of people are very interested in what, in the minor site plan subcommittee, there is going to be some restructuring and reorganization of the minor site plan subcommittee. Currently, the members, as agreed to have been on minor site plan, are Deputy Mayor Sylvester until such time as a mayor's designee is, or the mayor chooses to take his role. Brian Zimmerman, Birgit Bogler, and myself, Celeste Luciano, will be the 4 members of the subcommittee. We are still in the process of looking at what's happened during the course of last year, quantifying some of the difficulties that were had by last year's subcommittee so that we can put infrastructure in place so that we can potentially remedy some of those issues. We can say that moving forward, minor site plan subcommittee meetings will be held in this courtroom an hour before the planning board meetings, which is the first and third Wednesday of any given month. And applicants will be told when their application will be decided upon at that meeting. Unfortunately, that is all the information I have right now relative to minor site plan. But we will keep you posted. We will keep the business community posted with any additional changes or upgrades, and hopefully we can keep the lines of communication open so that we can adjust accordingly. That now brings us to,
Point of order, if you don't mind. And I'm just going by the ordinances. I'm not trying to be confrontational at all, but the ordinance does say that it is the mayor, and we've interpreted that as the mayor's designee and 3 other members. So if the mayor appoints somebody on the 27th, as I guess he's going to do as the designee, of the 4 people you mentioned, who would be the other 3?
right, I had indicated that it would be Deputy Mayor Sylvester, Brian Zimmerman, Birgit Bogler, and myself.
But that's not what the ordinance reads. The ordinance is mayor, and we've already interpreted that as mayor designee. It doesn't say deputy mayor or, I mean,
it
that's
was-
what the
And
ord.
again, it was until such time as the mayor or the mayor's
Right,
designee.
and
was
then at
determined.
that point, who would be the other 3?
Right.
Would Mike be going off, or
Mike
would
This said Mike would be
Birgit, or
going
would
off.
it?
Right.
Who would
Mike-
be the-
Mike is here until such time as a mayor or a mayor's designee is chosen.
And then he'll go off?
Correct.
That makes sense, and he is the deputy mayor, so he has that,
Correct.
that title. But good question and good discussion, and I think it's understood that it's the mayor designee, or it's implied the deputy mayor could cover that. So let's see how that pans out, but good conversation.
Okay, moving forward to.
I'm sorry again. I know last time, we had asked for a report from the minor site plan subcommittee, and I know Ron had specifically asked for it, and Rob said he would prepare it, and I believe Rob did prepare it. Can we hear the year-end report?
I don't have that information in front of me, unfortunately.
But Rob has it. I think we should hear from him, as you asked him to do it, and he has it ready. It's a summary of last year.
Right, if I look on the agenda, it's not on the agenda, however, you do have the open to the public. What I would suggest, if Mr. Otto wanted to submit it and give the board the opportunity to review it at the next meeting, and if you want to give a quick overview, maybe that makes sense, but it's not on the agenda per se, but we do have open to the public. Again, if Mr. Otto wants to submit something,
I believe the office has it. It's just that we weren't able to get it to the remainder of the board in time for review, so it wasn't included in this particular agenda. So, I mean, if well, that's the problem, is that we didn't get an opportunity to review it, so that's, okay.
Well, I would welcome
I would
the
welcome it.
board to first review and approve it, and then welcome Mr. Otto come up and, next meeting and give comments and open comments to that as well. I mean, because,
Are you
if
okay
we
with that,
got
Rob?
to take comments right now, I guess they're open to the public, but may not be accurate after our review. Subject to review, right?
Right. Are you okay with that, Rob? I mean, the question, I guess, would be, can you be here for the next meeting?
I accommodated coming to this meeting. I'm happy to give bullet points during the public session, and I'm not sure if I'd be disallowed from doing that.
You're certainly not disallowed from speaking during open session. It is,
You know, I'm happy to give Mr. Sylvester the full text to review because it is quite lengthy, but I could give you guys the broad brush that I think Ron wanted.
It's your choice, Mr. Otto. I mean, but I think it would be still subject to the final approval or, comments made, but then final approval still needs to at least be reviewed by the board. We haven't had a chance to see it.
right. Ken, thoughts?
Yeah, no, Mr. Otto in the public session can give some bullet points, and the report would be so filed. It's not really that there's a lot of comments that need to be done with it. It's a report that was submitted. It's his position, and there's no need to have an argument one way or the other. Or we can be supportive, we can be silent, we could be whatever, but it's the report is submitted, it would be reviewed and so filed with comments, but that's not before us tonight.
Okay. All right, well, to continue with updates and subcommittee updates, that moves me into the master plan subcommittee. Master plan subcommittee meetings currently have been scheduled based on the availability of our planner. The first one is intended to be February 10th. At 6:30 PM in this building, front conference room. Subsequent meetings are intended to be held monthly on the second Monday of any given month. And to refresh the members of the master plan subcommittee, that would be Mayor Blumetti, excuse me, who is the council liaison, Ken Laurie, who is liaison to the zoning board, and also the chair of the zoning, I believe, is he chair of zoning?
I think so.
Yes, I think he's still chair of the zoning. Nir Sauerwein, who is liaison to environmental, also, I believe he is the chair of environmental currently. Congratulations to Neil. Citizen members are Michael Devine, Christy Whitehouse, Jennifer Derricks, and Brian Romanowski, who also deserves honorable mention and congratulations for his appointment to the zoning board. And planning board members, Brian Zimmerman, Joan Furman, and myself, Celeste Luciano. So that having been said, we're looking forward to doing good work on the master plan. And that brings us to open to the public or anybody who would like to discuss matters not on the agenda.
Rob, if you're just making a statement, you don't have to be sworn in, but if you can just give your name and that you're in Sparta. If you recall, the new movement of our legislation is not to give street addresses, just merely your name and association with the community. Okay.
Rob Otto, resident of Sparta. So you guys kind of heard the majority of this. I'm going to give, I guess, Mr. Sylvester 5 or 6 copies. You can take a look at it, and after which, and you guys can remain silent if you want. But this was prepared during my tenure at the end, December. So I went through our 2025 process already, but I kind of want to just go over that again on the record. Mr. Sylvester's here. So I think we ended up with something useful, which is that, again, minor site plan cannot grant waivers. It's the purview of the full body of either planning board or zoning board of adjustment. Minor site plan subcommittee is comprised of 3 to 4 volunteers that also serve on the planning board. The goals of the MSPS remain the same as the planning board, where the determinations made by those serving may not be arbitrary and capricious. As a quasi-judicial body, these determinants are presumed legally correct according to MLUL. So in order to protect the township from legal challenges, each application is considered with great care and consideration, especially in light of current challenges stemming from recent applications within Sparta. It was crucial that in 2025, we operate closely within code. By using the published ordinances and standards codified by our professionals in the governing body, determinations made by the MSPS volunteers are less susceptible to legal challenge, less likely to be deemed arbitrary and capricious, and stand up to a potential challenge. So our process was introduction, where the applicant gathers the application materials, presents it to planning, and we begin individually with a pre-review of the local code, along with applying any special local knowledge. Once accepted by the zoning office, they forward those materials to MSPS, and we use any knowledge which may relate to the proposed project. Then, subject to interpretations by planning board professionals, legal, engineering, planning, we try to resolve any questions. Members of the subcommittee may feel the need to bring up concerns that they might have, and this might lead to clarifying questions to be submitted to the applicant. And this is all kind of a pre-review to determine, is the application even complete? Once the application is fully understood to be complete and understood, members of MSPS provide their individual analyses, we have a discussion, and then we cast our votes immediately prior to regular planning board meetings. In the past, I think as a carryover from 2024 and then prior to that with COVID, some of this was done over email. It was very exhaustive, and you kind of met when you could meet. But then after the vote, we try to assemble the determination, restating the project scope, listing the sections of code which may apply, and then presenting the determination along with any conditions or requests. Every application, obviously, every site is different and challenging. The code is not artfully drawn, it's not perfect, and many labels persist from over 40 years ago. They may not fit those of today. But the goal is we're trying to balance intensity of changing uses within the local conditions, and I think that remains. So I'll fast forward. So pain points, complete conforming applications help staff and volunteers and speed up the process. So in 2025, actually Joan and Ron were nice enough to update the MSPS application to try to capture more information to kind of keep that application moving forward. However, throughout the year, MSPS volunteers and township staff, Dorian, Raisha, Marissa, Emily, took a lot of effort to try to cure defective or incomplete applications, researching prior uses, prior approvals, and just basically trying to steer applicants to the current design standards governing Sparta Township so that their application could conform. So all we want to do is just get a conforming application and approve it. When we encountered areas in the code that were poorly written, deficient, or had disallowed uses that might represent a reasonable intensity of use to be considered, we did make suggestions to the governing body to update that code. Unfortunately, as of the date of this report, December 2025, no action had been taken on such suggestions from MSPS or the planning board, so hopefully with Mr. Sylvester back here, that can change. And then obviously in instances where the proposed scope of an application may exceed the expertise or comfort level of volunteers, normally I believe that would be submitted for full planning board review. However, as planning board resources flow to MSPS, in some of these instances, we were able to utilize our professionals to try to move that application along. Professional review was helpful at MSPS for legalities regarding topics subject ongoing discussion in memos at the council level, such as cannabinoids and related. And then professional review was also helpful in establishing engineering best practices regarding health, safety, and welfare. So based upon this, MSPS made further recommendations that an escrow fee structure be established to defray costs of a reasonable professional review only when warranted, to reduce time for review. Again, governing body chose not to act on that, but hopeful that you guys will move that along. Don't feel that the MSPS should be utilized to expeditiously move applications forward on a whim. That's a pretty foolish take. Sparta just cannot afford to be arbitrary and capricious, end up in another lawsuit. This is the very reason that you have 3 to 4 planning board volunteers, the local experts, hearing these applications and balancing them against the written code. So I urge those of you who are doing minor site plan to continue to identify the public interest at stake, identify any detrimental effects, and work with the applicant to help them conform. If you determine a waiver is needed, that's why planning board and zoning board exists. So I think what Ron and probably everyone else was waiting for me to get through. Summary of applications. 44% of our applications, and it was easy, there were like 50 applications on the nose. We had a few over from 2024 that carried over, and I think Ms. Dunbar, you completed some of those, then we got a few at the very end of the year that we were able to quickly turn around. So 44% are town center commercial, which is a zone that provides community commercial uses to complement and enhance existing retail and service use and historic character in the town center. 24% C1, community commercial zone limited to business uses of retail sales and service type. 18% ED, economic development zone. The purpose of that zone is to allow for the location of office, research, and industrial uses in a campus-like setting with good access to Route 15 and the railroad. 4% were PCED, Planned Commercial Economic Development Zone, which zone is to permit development of the areas of land along Route 15, west of Route 15, north of Susquehanna Western Railroad. 4% were TCLM, Town Center Lower Main Street Commercial Zone, which provides for community commercial uses to complement and enhance existing retail and service use and historic character in the town center area. 4% were Town Center Main Street, which is a district in which professional office, specialty retail service uses, multifamily residential, and mixed use of any permitted uses are allowed. And site plans and buildings shall be designed in a manner that will preserve and mimic the rural and historic character. And then the last 2% was TCCO, Town Center Commercial Office Zone, providing for community commercial uses to complement and enhance the existing office uses and historic character and natural resources in the town center area. So the last thing I'll say is that if you listen to those, if you could stand to listen to me drone on, the majority of those were various iterations of town center. And within the town center zone, the master plan expressly is trying to protect the historic character, the community feel. So when we look back at 2025, it's great that we have, despite all comments to the contrary, we have a lot of businesses coming into that zone, but it's also probably why we run into questions about signage. And so I will just say that the code is pretty clear on the signage and the parking standards and all of that. It's you look at the design standards for the entirety of the township, and then you go to the additional specific design standards for each zone. So if, Mr. Sylvester, you've done this for longer than I have, if you could just, I know that you're pro-business and pro-community, so I would hope that you could kind of lead the charge to get the governing body to give this body the tools it needs to preserve and protect the natural resources, the historic, while also not, we don't want to slow down small businesses, big businesses, so, but there's a way to do it. And I think the proper way is not to bend the rules and regs as they're written. They're old, some of them, they need to be updated. It's a simple matter of you had a stormwater update that was done, it was required by the state, and it just said, we're passing this ordinance at town council level. Here's the new stormwater regulations promulgated by the state. Take this section, sub it in here, delete this. It could be that easy. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
I appreciate it, Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you for everything.
Put into this too.
Yeah, a lot.
I know you put a lot of work in.
It was fun.
We definitely appreciate it.
Board, real quick on, as Rob had said, Rob used the word waiver, also variances. The subcommittee can't grant variances. And as he had said, my limited involvement, the grandfathered rights is a very interesting issue. Very quickly, let's say a property tenant had a signage that was 5 by 5, and that square footage is not permitted, and they say, well, the prior person had it, the building is grandfathered. The case law is very interesting on that. If there is some indicia of approval of the signage, but just because the sign is there does not vest, does not make it. There is a process with the Board of Adjustment for an interpretation, but those challenges are very challenging to the minor site plan when an applicant comes in and says the prior owner had this, but there's no permit or there's no documentation. So that, I think the board did a nice job of addressing those issues last year. That's it. Thank you.
Just to follow up, Ken, there also is, within our ordinance, it says that anytime a sign is altered, moved, replaced, or, anything, that they must follow the current code. So that's why we would look to the current code at that point.
Got it. Good point. Thank you.
But not subject to any proposed or future codes that may be into consideration. You operate under the existing code it's in effect at the time, right?
Correct. There was law when I first started practicing that it was time of decision law, which means that whenever the code was at the time of decision. And what happened was when an app developer would come in and they had no variances, miraculously, the mayor and council in some of those towns would change the ordinances that it was no longer conforming. For example, you didn't want a garbage disposal, you didn't want some particular use, and it was permitted in the zone. The legislation changed that. So as the deputy mayor said, now it's the time of filing, not the time of decision. So yes, that is the current law.
Thank you.
Good.
Hi, Jenny Derricks, Tappan to Sparta. I just had a quick question. Ordinance requires minutes be produced from the minor site plan subcommittee, and I was wondering when we were going to see those.
We are going to see those at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other members of the public? Seeing none. Moving on. So executive session is on the agenda. The intention was for us to move into executive to have a conversation with all of our professionals. However, Lindsay Knight is not here this evening, but she has sent her representative, and I apologize if I butcher your name, David Jizmeski.
Pretty good.
So I am going to leave it to the board as to whether or not we are going to opt to go into executive with Lindsay's alternate. So I guess the motion will be that we will go into executive with Lindsay's alternate. Can I have a motion and a second for that?
I just get some clarification. If we go into motion tonight, will we still have to have an additional meeting later on when Lindsay's back?
We can have that discussion. I mean, because quite frankly, my thought is that there may be certain questions that David may not be capable of answering, only because he wasn't with us last year. He wasn't the one who was doing the reports. He wasn't, so we may have specific questions that he may not be capable of answering.
I would
So,
prefer to have the whole team here
Yeah.
to go into that discussion.
okay, so let's do
Motion to carry.
let's do a motion to carry the executive session to our next meeting, which is the 4th. Hopefully Lindsay will be here with us. Can I get a motion and a second for that?
I'll make a motion to carry it to this 4th.
Second?
Yeah.
And can we get a roll call?
Before that, is there just anything that, you did come here today for this sole purpose, and if there was anything that you wanted to say, for being here, since he is here?
I was going to give him that opportunity after we took the vote.
I thought part of discussion before we decide, but
Yeah, sure. We appreciate the board's confidence in us and our reappointment. Lindsay's actually can't be here. She wanted to be here, but she was just tied up on another matter. So, I can answer any questions the board may have, or like you said, if you want to wait for Lindsay next month, I hope she's available at that time. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Oh, Dave. You are welcome to speak, sir.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't see any place else, and I wasn't used to a blanket motion, but I just wanted to say thank you for reappointing me again.
Thank you.
So I didn't want the night to slip by without saying that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Motion and second, roll call.
Deputy Mayor Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Ron Day,
Yes.
Christine Dunbar,
Yes.
Joan Furman,
Yes.
Ernie Reichstad,
Yes.
Brian Zimmerman,
Yes.
Birgit Bogler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jeanette Burke,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Celeste Luciano.
Yes, so we will not be going into executive session. And unless anyone has anything else that they would like to say, Ernie, you're on.
I'm on. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.